Hi everybody, this is Howard, the Teaserking, coming to you with the Week 1 analysis of the NFL. Um, Basically, I just want to walk through what happened, my plays, and just the teams, that, even if I didn't play them, what's happening and what are the trends and things like that. I had 7 winners and 2 losers. The losers being Indy, which I was surprised that Tyrod Taylor didn't play that well, and I didn't think he would. He hit the 1 touchdown. I just think it was their defense. Luck through his 2 interceptions, as he always does. They got in the hole, and then they tried to fight back. I think their weakness is they don't run the ball enough, so Luck throws it too much. Rex Ryan has a good defense against. He's played Tom Brady enough to see it. Buffalo initially, without Rex Ryan, would have a hard time in this game, but Rex Ryan knows how to play the good quarterbacks, Ryan and Aaron Rodgers and Manning. So Buffalo, you must look at as the old Jets, and basically Ryan knows how to get pressure on these quarterbacks and really screw them up. The way to beat them is with a good running attack and then a play action. So teams like Dallas last year, maybe Philadelphia, will have a better time because they can mix it up and run at them, and the blitzes won't be as effective getting to the quarterback. The other loser was Oakland, who I over-anticipated Carr and Amari Cooper, but Oakland did lose both their safeties in the game, and Carr went out with a hand injury. I was surprised Cincinnati scored as much. They don't normally blow out on the road. Okay, we'll watch Oakland for a little bit before we play them again. They're normally a play against team, but with Carr and Cooper, I thought they would come out a little bit stronger. The locks won. New England and Green Bay was my lock. Brady playing, I knew he would be on fire, and he was. And Green Bay absolutely owned Chicago. And that's one of the things that I bring to the table are the team versus team trends. And they're all in teasers. Green Bay was 12-2 as the favorite in the series, and 7-1 the last 8 against Chicago in Chicago. So Green Bay travels to Chicago very well. Green Bay's very strong as the favorite in this series, and that's exactly what happened. So in other words, the matchup, Chicago has a hard time with Rodgers, and the matchup favors Rodgers in this series, and that's really what I'm doing is team versus team. The Seattle-St. Louis matchup, the dog was 9-1. St. Louis was 8-2 as the dog. The last 5, the dog was 5-0. So basically, it's a dog play, St. Louis, Seattle in St. Louis. When the game is in Seattle, there's totally different trends. So that's why I have to trend each place. So the game's in St. Louis, the game's in Seattle, but the trend was the dog, and you can see it was 34-31. Had St. Louis been favored by 3, we would have locked Seattle, and we would have won it. So that's what you look for, is basically the trend, and the trend's the matchup. It's how they play, and that's what you're looking at, is how have they played in the past should tell you how they're going to play in the future, provided new coaches and quarterbacks. But even then, it still kind of sticks, according to Hoyle, with the trends. The other trend that I didn't even play that I liked was the Giants and Dallas. The trend in that game was the underdog. The underdog was 17-4. The dog was 12-2 in the series, and the Giants were 6-1 the last 7 in Dallas. So it's a dog play in Dallas. The Giants played very well there, but with all the injuries, the Jason Pierre-Paul and Cruz was out. You want to take everything into consideration. Dallas is actually a very weak favorite at home, and the Giants, so even there, you got injuries. The Giants still should have won the game. I thought that they should have ran the ball on 3rd down, and I think the last thing they wanted was I almost would have ran the ball on 4th down just to run the clock, because I don't think a field goal really helped them. They're up 3. Well, I guess it got them to 6. They made them score a touchdown, but They definitely, on the third down play, Manning should have taken a knee, not thrown it away. He's got to be coherent to the fact that if they are going to throw it, he's got to get down because he's got to keep the clock running. That's the most important thing. Now, what I hate is the announcer going, "Oh, there's 40 seconds left. Had they taken the knee, the game would have been..." No. The plays would have been totally different. Dallas would have played more for out of bounds and more longer passes, and then they would have done a Hail Mary at the end, and they might have won it that way. So you can't say because of what the Giants did is Dallas, the game would have been over because they run different plays and throw Hail Marys and everything else. So you never know what plays they would have called. Anyway, very interesting. San Francisco. I thought I was watching Notre Dame play Minnesota. They come out in black uniforms. Now, since when did the pros play gimmick uniforms and play college ball? It's funny. When I saw it, I knew I was in trouble because I had played Minnesota, and I thought it was really strange. Frisco was in black uniforms. Now, I've been watching since probably 1966 when what's the quarterback? John Brody was the quarterback. Okay, so I've been watching Frisco since John Brody. I've never seen him in a black uniform in my life. When I saw that, I was like, it's college. I mean, it was like, Notre Dame coming out in green uniforms. I couldn't believe what I was watching, that they feel they have to resort to wearing black uniforms to win a game. They have to play college ball. It worked. Minnesota looked terrible. Minnesota should have ran the ball more. Frisco looked better than I thought. Kaepernick didn't have his usual 3 or 4 interceptions. He kind of ran a little bit more, which was lacking the last year, which I wish he would have done when I bet them against the Bears last year, and he threw 4 interceptions. So all of a sudden he's back to scrambling a little bit more. I don't know what to do with him against Pittsburgh this week. They got to travel to the East Coast after a Monday night, after an emotional game wearing black uniforms, so they'll probably be a little bit flat this week. I don't trust the new coach. I don't trust Kaepernick at this point. They lost 4 or 5 great defensive players, and Minnesota made them look good. But here's what you got to understand: Minnesota with Teddy Bridgewater is not an elite quarterback, so the Niners looked good against him. So did the Niners really have this great defense? Well, I don't know. Against Teddy Bridgewater, they did. Let's look at him against Aaron Rodgers. We'll see him against Russell Wilson twice. We'll see him against Nick Foles. I'm not sold on. That'll be curious with that offense. And Carson Palmer they get to see twice. So if Carson Palmer's healthy, then we'll get a better feel when they play a real quarterback. So you can't read too much into the Niners. Are they going to wear black uniforms every week is the question. It's just funny that they would resort to a college thing to do it. But that's what they did. So let's go down. New England was New England. Green Bay, Rodgers looked very good. Kansas City winning at Houston. Houston needs a quarterback. I don't think Mallett's the answer. KC played well. Let's see how they play against Denver at home on the Monday night. Cleveland looks terrible. Getting blown out by the Jets is ridiculous. Indy losing to Buffalo the way they did is just pure. They don't have a running attack. They have a weak defense. So all they really have is Andrew Luck passing the ball. Hard to win one-dimensional. It never usually happens. They'll be bad against strong defensive teams, so keep that in mind. Miami winning at Washington. I don't like Tannehill. I think he's a joke. They went on a punt return, so they really only scored 10 offensive points. Washington's terrible. So how good's Miami that they could barely beat Washington? So I'm not buying Miami. I'm not buying Washington's. We're going to bet against Washington as much as possible. Carolina, Jacksonville. Carolina, beats them. Jacksonville's got some injuries. I don't know that Blake Bortles is that good. it was good to see Carolina score some points because they've lost their wide receiver. Benjamin looked good, but I can't remember the guy who got hurt. I'm sorry, but Carolina's offense is going to be skeptical this year, but they got a good defense. Seattle and the Rams, I thought it was more high scoring than I would have thought, judging that the Rams have a very good defense, and so does Seattle. Yeah, Cam Chancellor's out, but I think they're making too much of that. I'm sure the other guy will get used to it, and they'll be fine. Arizona, New Orleans, they're just like I told you, Arizona with that great secondary shut down New Orleans. So Arizona's a very tough team at home. Keep an eye on them. With Carson Palmer, they're a very strong team. They're probably the best team out there with Palmer. So if he gets hurt, you got to adjust your betting. Tennessee, Tampa, called that game perfectly. I knew there was no way Winston was going to blow out anybody. Tampa is a very strong bet against team, at least at this point of the year. Tennessee, I don't think they're that good, putting up 42 on a weak Tampa defense. But I do like Tennessee as a dog. Mariota, again, it's the matchup. He played Tampa Bay. Let's see him against Pittsburgh. Let's see him against New England. So you can't take too much into the game. What nobody tells you, except for me, and you listen to these guys on ESPN, they get all hung up in the game. Oh, look at Mariota against Tampa. It's the matchup. It's how he did against Tampa. But this week they're playing Cleveland, another weak team. So he might have another good game, and they're going to say he's the greatest quarterback in the world. But let's see him when he plays the tougher team, when he goes to Seattle, when he plays, maybe the Vikings defense or St. Louis's defense. Let's see him against Arizona, for example. The guy won't throw for 200 yards against that secondary. So, Buffalo will give him a hard time. The Jets will give him a hard time. New England will give him a hard time. So it's just, you've got to understand every game's a matchup, and that's what I try to do, is get the matchup down. And that's what my trends are about, is putting the matchups together. That's how I'm so successful, because every game, it's like poker, every hand's different. Here, every game's different. So what Tennessee did to Tampa doesn't mean they're going to do it to Cleveland or Cincinnati or Baltimore or any other team. But I'm looking for them against teams like Tampa. That's really the key. Cincinnati, Oakland, I was kind of shocked Cincinnati put up 33. But Oakland, I didn't realize until after the game, lost both their safeties, so that kind of makes sense. I don't know at what point Oakland lost their safeties. Carr goes out with the hand. Well, that doesn't affect it, but then I was a little surprised Oakland didn't, that it was so lopsided, let's say. Let's look at Cincinnati this week against the tough San Diego team. Denver, Baltimore, I was shocked that it was so low scoring. Denver only scoring 19. I don't know what you got. Peyton Manning, just let him go. And Baltimore, what happened to Flacco, $100 million quarterback, and he can't do anything on Denver. So I'm just curious about what's going on there, that these teams are so low scoring when they're normally high scoring teams. Again, the Giants, the trend was the Giants all over the place in this game with Dallas. So they looked better than I thought. Dallas lost. Bryant still put up 27. I know it's a big loss, but I think Dallas has enough backup receivers. This is the NFL, and don't overreact to an injury unless it's Tom Brady going out or Manning going out, and then you look at the backup. But if the quarterback, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go out and they lose Jordy Nelson, they still put up, they put up 31 on the Bears without Jordy Nelson. It's the quarterback injury that you got to worry about, and even then, depending on who the quarterback is. So the fact they lost Bryant, don't just bet against Dallas because you lost Bryant. Their backups are fine. They got Witten, they got the running, they got Romo. So you can't just get away from them there. Philly, Atlanta, about what I thought. I'm surprised Bradford played the whole game. I'm waiting for him to get injured any minute now. That's about it. Atlanta's, when they're healthy, Atlanta's very good, especially at home. And then Mini Frisco, I was just shocked by how weak Mini looked, how good Frisco's defense is with all these star all-pro players leaving, with Harbaugh leaving. Is this coach really this good? Kaepernick, okay, puts up 20. He looked good. I don't know, is Minnesota that bad? I thought they should have ran more. Where was Peterson? What are they doing? Even when the other guys came in, they were running the ball up the middle. I never understand that. They run up the middle for 15 yards. They don't run it again. You're like, okay, you just ran for 15 yards. Keep running that play. I remember watching a playoff game, Miami-Cincinnati, and this is in the 80s, and Cincinnati ran 2 trap plays up the middle, 15 yards, 15 yards, and then they start passing. I think they had Kenny Anderson at that time. And they start throwing the ball, and you're like, guys, they just ran 2 traps for 15 yards apiece, 30 yards. Maybe keep running that play. You never saw it the rest of the game. Just amazing how stupid these guys are. So anyway, Minnesota should have ran more. He should have just pounded Peterson. It's the best thing you can do against the blitz. When they're getting to your quarterback, you need to run the ball because it takes more out of the defensive lineman. So I don't get anything out of Minnesota. Are they really that weak? And then the 49ers, like I said, if they're going to wear black every game, they might win them all. So we'll call them Notre Dame. But basically, I'll get a better sense of Frisco at Pittsburgh, who they really are. Kaepernick, I don't know. He's been lousy the last couple of years. Without Harbaugh, I don't see it. But let's see what happens. So maybe they're not as bad as I thought they would be. Therefore, I will have more of a tendency, instead of just betting against them every week because they lost all their players and their coach, I'll take a bigger look at them. So I don't want to make too much of a look now. In the NFL, it's easier. I can catch on much quicker. But I was explaining in college, you get a team like Georgia Tech. How good are they? You get a surprise team like, here's Bowling Green. They're explosive. Here's Memphis. So you can see these teams growing, and those are your betting teams. And in college, it changes every year. The kids graduate and everything. In pros, it's more stable. Tom Brady's been there 100 years. Rodgers has been there. Manning. You got Andrew Luck now. You've got Seattle. You got a lot of known quantities. So it doesn't take as long to figure this out. The only one is where the coaching changes. So let me figure out the 49ers. I got to figure out Buffalo with Rex Ryan. I got to look at how's New Orleans without Jimmy Graham. Okay, Atlanta's got a new coach. How are they? So it'll take you a few games, but the difference in college and the pros in college, they're playing Elkhorn State, and you can't get any read on it at all. I mean, they can put up 50 points. Maybe if they only put up 20, you get a read that they got a weak offense. But it's like playing a high school team. This is what I don't get in college. Why they let them even schedule Division II. It's like it would be like the Kansas City Chiefs playing Missouri or Notre Dame. Like wait a minute, they got to play pro teams. So that's why it's so much easier in the pros to especially play teasers. That 6 points is huge. Like here at Green Bay, from 6.5 down to even, down to 8.5 was a lock. Laying 6.5, probably not a lock. But they still own them. Same thing with New England Pitt. New England laying 7, Brady's back. You cut it to 1, it's a lock. But if you laid 7, you got to push. And New England had control the whole game. That's the beauty of the teasers. So anyway, that's the recap of Week 1. I'll have Week 2's out very soon. I got a lock going in Week 2. That's a very strong lock. I got a lot of plays in Week 2 already. So I'll be coming out with that video very soon. Again, thanks for watching. Again, it's www.teaserking.com. You can see my videos here. You can leave comments, send me emails, whatever you want. I'll help you with games. I can't give you locks. You say, what's your lock? I got to make you pay for it because that's what I do. But very happy to give advice on any game that I can besides the locks, because it's not fair to the people paying that they're paying for the lock. I'm going to give it to you in an email or here. I can't do it. That's just business is business. All right, everybody. Again, it's www.teaserking.com. Good luck this week. Teaserking's rolling. He's red hot. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.